Yeah, here we go again. I have just more news, just to let you guys know what's going on. You guys probably already know. Today was the press conference with Coach Prime today, and what I did when I watched it, I wasn't just looking for his responses. I wasn't just looking for his verbal responses. I was looking at everything. I was factoring in everything: his body language, the way he said certain things, his aura, his countenance, just everything about him. I just wanted to make sure that I was getting a good read on him. And I feel that Coach Prime is in a good place. I think that Stannford debacle is behind them. And I think that he's looking at that situation in Stannford as a blessing in disguise as well. I think as everyone can attest to, the human side of us comes out in the heat of the moment. Like if you're watching the game like that and you're rooting for a particular team, and a particular team is just dominate the other team, and when the game becomes so lopsided in the second half, it leaves you sort of shocked. Like a better term, you're just shocked. You can't believe what your eyes are seeing. It was almost like a nightmare that you could not wake up from. Coach Prime seems like he's in a good place. He got asked questions about the past game, and he pretty much said penalties. He was very general in that. I'm sure he can go into detail, but when you're handling these press conferences, you have to be very careful what you say, because your words could be minced in so many ways. Your words could be taken out of context, and sub-narratives could be taken from the main narrative, if you understand what I'm saying. We all know that they blew a lead, but what people are looking for is for dissension and fraction within the team concept, and that's what people are actually waiting for, because we all know that negative news sells. Negative news gets clicks, drama gets clicks. So he has to be very careful in how he answers questions. So he just pretty much chalked it up to penalties. But that's a broad answer. It's general, but that sort of ambiguity, so to speak, it still leads its hand to, for us as thinking people, to say, well, if you have penalties, there's a lot of reasons for that. It could be preparation, it could be coaching, it could be lack of execution, it could be a lot of things. And so I think that those answers that particular answer that he gave, I think that was a good answer to give, because it leaves it up to the thinking mind to glean from that what you want to glean from that. I don't think that he needs to go into detail. He got asked other questions as well. The answers that he gave about how he thinks they're going to play against UCLA, he said it with, and I'm just comparing how he gave the answer this time to how he would answer the questions in the past. He didn't answer questions about how he thinks his team's going to perform this upcoming game with the same type of intensity as he did before. Prime is human. There's a degree of angst that goes into any profession, whether you are a fireman, a police officer, a teacher, or a nurse, a dentist. Whenever you're doing your job, there's a degree of angst, because especially if you have a high moral and a high value system that resides within you, you want to always do your best. I'm that kind of person too. When I do something, I want to do my best. It's not that I'm trying to prove anything to anybody. I want to prove it to myself, because we all are fractions. We all are little mini fragments of that God consciousness. And it's in us to seek perfection, and it's in us to seek truth. That's why so many of us can get misled sometimes when we have false prophets who come as messengers of truth, but they're literally misleading people down the wrong path. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but suffice it to say that when I looked at Coach Prime, the way he was answering the questions, there was a quiet calm about the confidence that he had about going into this next game. He assured the reporters and the onlookers and the people who were viewing the audiences, he assured us that they're going to play better. But it wasn't, he didn't say it in a way like, oh, well, we're going to win. He didn't say it with his chest poking out. But I don't look into that to say that he doesn't have confidence. It's a quiet confidence. And a quiet confidence, to me, in my opinion, is more impactful, because a quiet confidence needs no external stimulants to make it believable. It is what it is. When somebody just says the truth, they just need to speak it. There's no need to elaborate on it. Oftentimes when people are telling a lie, they like to exaggerate the lie to make the lie a little bit more, satisfying to the listening ear. You tend to, people do it all the time. We all did this as kids. When you're telling a story over again, you tend to add a little extra to it to get the excitement of your audience. But I don't think that's what Coach Prime was doing in this particular situation. I think that he just said, "Hey, we're going to play better." And he said it. I'm trying to remember how he said it in terms of verbatim, word for word. It's almost like he had an expectance that they're going to play better. He seems to be very happy about the time off, allowing certain guys to heal. He was asked a question about Mitchell, one of the linebackers, and he pretty much put it on him. He said, "You asked him. It's not what he's doing on the field; it's pretty much what he's doing off the field." So there you go again, coach holding players accountable. That does not come across as a player's coach. That comes across as a disciplinarian. That's old school. He also mentioned things about discipline, and I think one of the reporters asked him a question to the effect of asking him. He said, "What do you think contributed to all those penalties?" And he said, "Well, it's not just on the field. It starts with everything. How you prepare. If you're late for class, if you're undisciplined with your coursework, if you're undisciplined in other areas of your life, it's going to show on the football field. If you're undisciplined in practice, it's going to show on the football field. If you're not airtight about your profession, because I think that those college athletes, that is their profession. Let's call it what it is. It's a job. I mean, you're practicing hard. You have to study your playbook. There are a lot of physical demands that's required of those athletes. So it's a job. So if you're not professional and disciplined on your job and you're not taking that seriously, what makes you think that when the bright lights come on and the crowd is yelling and screaming and you have somebody that's across from you that's trying to take your head off, what makes you believe that you're going to have discipline in that moment? So the answers that Coach Prime gave were very, very enlightening, to say the least. I think that he gave it in a way that anybody could actually receive the message. He just basically said, no, it's not on the field. Being disciplined, it's not a switch you just turn on. I'm going to be disciplined in the game. Discipline starts with preparation way before the game begins and in every facet of your everyday life. It's not just when you get to the job and all of a sudden, okay, now I'm going to turn it on to be disciplined. So I can't wait for the game. I'm not going to give my predictions quite yet. I still need to do some more research, but I will tell you this: UCLA is not Stanford. And what do I mean by that? UCLA is much better than Stanford. Statistically, they are. I think that I would go as far as to say that the defensive line for UCLA is actually one of the best. That's one of their best assets. You know how certain teams, just say they're known for their passing, they're known for their running. UCLA's defensive line is stout. And a lot of people have been saying that Colorado's offensive line is their weakness. So that's kind of troubling there. But the games have to be played. We all saw what happened last game with a 29-point letdown that Colorado had. So the games still have to be played. We can make all the predictions that we want, but that's why they play the games. If the games were pretty much something that you could predict on paper, then there'll be no need to play the games. We can just look at the paper and go about the statistics and say, yeah, okay, this team has a better chance of winning, and that's it. No. That's not the way it's going to work. So the game still has to be played, and we'll see who wins. But I'm not going to make my predictions just yet. I'm going to look at the Pac-12 standings. I'm going to study the statistics and see the rankings of each team defensively. I have to look at a lot of things, and once I do that, I'll be able to make my predictions. I'm going to make a logical prediction. I'm also going to make a heart prediction as well. But I'm going to be doing that later on in the week. But this press conference is on. I think it's on DNVR station, one of those Denver sports stations, YouTube channels, social media channels, and that's where I saw that press conference with Coach Prime. So I'm excited about the game, and I'm going to be making my predictions later on in the week. All right, thank you guys for listening. I'm not going to tell you guys to like and subscribe. I think every YouTuber says that. I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I just happen to be on YouTube talking about sports, but If my message or if what I'm saying resonates with you, then do what you need to do. If you need to press like it. If you need to subscribe. But I'm not gonna be telling people to do that all the time, because I feel like you guys are adults. If you like a video, you don't need to be told to press the like button if you like it. Or you don't need to be reminded like you're a dog, or do this, do that. I feel like people don't do what they want to do regardless, and I don't want to be the one to always say like and subscribe and share my videos. I don't want to do that. I feel like people who like and share your videos are doing that because they're led to, not because I'm going to tell them to do that. All right, so we talk again. With my predictions, I'll come back with my predictions later on in the week. All right, like before the game, maybe a day before the game, maybe on Friday. I'll do it on Friday. All right, take care, guys. Bye.